Publishing Services Co. Where every story starts to grow. From dreams you write to works you share, we shape your pages with gentle care. Your published book, your research too. We bring your voice to something new. Each printed line, each thought you frame. We help your words find their name. Setra Publishing, we make your story shine. Every chapter, every line, beautifully aligned. For every writer, ready to let their words flow. Trust Setra Book Publishing Services Co.
Mga kababayan, ang pambansang awit ng Pilipinas.
Bayang magiliw, perlas ng silanganan, alab ng puso, sa dibdib mo'y buhay.
Panghihingang, duyan ka ng magiting. Sa manlulupi, di ka pasisingil.
Sa dagat ang tulong, sa simoy at sa langit mong lugaw. May dilag ang tula at awit sa pagyayang minamahal.
Ang iskat ng watawat mo'y tagumpay na nagdidingding.
Ang bituin at araw na kailan pa may magdidilim.
Mamatay ng dahil sa'yo.
We sincerely acknowledge and thank all participants for their active engagement, valuable insights, and commitment to continuous professional growth, which greatly contributed to the success of the Digital Literacy and Cybersecurity Essentials for Teachers online seminar. This two-day online seminar, to be conducted on April 11 and 18, 2026, is designed to equip teachers with essential digital literacy skills and cybersecurity awareness to ensure the safe, ethical, and effective use of technology in teaching, learning, and professional practice within an increasingly digital educational environment. The seminar aims to enhance teachers' digital literacy and cybersecurity competencies, resulting in increased awareness of online risks, improved safe technology practices, and the development of practical digital safety strategies that can be applied in teaching and school operations. Participants are expected to observe proper online etiquette by joining the session on time, using appropriate names, keeping microphones muted when not speaking, respecting speakers and fellow participants, and safeguarding the confidentiality and security of shared digital content during the seminar. Please welcome our dear speaker, Dr. Rizal B. Abida.
Good day, everyone. Welcome to our seminar entitled Digital Literacy and Cybersecurity Essentials for Teachers. My name is Roselby Avila, your speaker for today. So, in today's digital world, technology is no longer just a tool, it is the environment where our students learn to communicate and grow. As educators, we are not only facilitators of knowledge, but also the guardian of our learners' digital safety and a role model as well. So let's get started. So by the end of this webinar, participants will be able to explain the core components of digital literacy in education. Next is to identify the common security threats targeting our dear teachers. Another is to apply data privacy principles under the Data Privacy Act of 2012, and also to demonstrate safe online practices in handling students' information. So these are the list for the introduction to digital literacy. Digital literacy involves information evaluation, digital communication, content creation, cyber awareness, and ethical online behavior. So let us now start with the information evaluation. So this is the ability to assess the credibility and relevance of online information. As we all know, majority of us teachers get our resources through online. So we need to have the ability to assess every single information that we get through online. We need to check the credibility of our source. Is it coming from DepEd? If not, then is the website reliable? Is it updated? Because there are many websites right now that is not credible. Only fake news or fake data has been posted for the purpose of content. Next is digital communication. Using online platform responsibly and effectively for communication. There are many platforms wherein we can communicate with our dear students and stakeholders, also with our fellow teachers. So these online platforms may be through Facebook Messenger, MS Teams, and Google Meet. Some also may use Zoom, Skype, and a lot more. But right now in DepEd and other school uses the Microsoft MS Teams. So we also have the content creation. So the responsible production and sharing of digital materials. So we as educator, we tend to create a digital materials for our students. We create a learning activity sheet. We also have this alternative delivery mode or the ADM. There are also many digital materials that we have created using an AI, like for instance, the Chat GPT. But in content creation, we need to have a strong and reliable source to create a good content. It must be a combination of a content text and an image as well. Next is cyber awareness. Understanding and recognizing online threats such as phishing and malware. We as teachers, we need to understand that there are many threats in online. Phishing or malware may be in a form of emails, a pop-up message. Sometimes it goes under download links. So we need to understand this cyber awareness as we go along with this discussion. Next is ethical online behavior. Acting responsibly and respectfully while interacting online. Usually, in interacting online, teachers may tend to groom themselves as well, especially if the session is online and we need to open our camera. We also need to transfer this practice to our students because during an online classes there are many students who are not able to groom themselves before the online class. So this is an example for the digital literacy. A teacher shares a student's grade publicly in a group chat. While digitally skilled, they are not digitally responsible. Okay, so there are many digital skilled teacher right now, but sometimes we forget to become a digital responsible. So digital literacy goes beyond using tools like PowerPoint or Google Classroom. It is about understanding how to evaluate information, communicate digitally, and create content responsibly. So as a teacher, we must model ethical online behavior, ensuring that we practice what we preach. So for the next topic is the core competencies of teachers. We have evaluating online sources, detecting misinformation, using secure platforms, managing digital footprints, and responsible AI use. This is the ability to judge the accuracy and trustworthiness of online information. So as we do our research, especially for our activities and learning activity sheet, so we need to counter check and evaluate these online sources. Is the data or the information posted on this website or correct? So we must not focus on a single resources but rather check for a minimum of 3 to 5 for a single variable only. Identifying and debunking false or misleading content. So we discussed a while ago that having a single reliable source is very limited. But what we need is to check at least 3 to 5 reliable sources for every variable or topic that we want to present, especially to our students. This is to avoid a misleading information and to promote a reliable information. Using secure platform, so ensuring the platforms used for teaching are safe and private. So right now we have our own emails dedicated for our teachers and learners. For example, for DepEd, we have a platform or email that ends with that at deped.edu.ph. So we use this email to transact with different department in division, in school, and in district. Also, we asked our students to maximize the use of their email because most of them uses their email during exams in NKI and answering different online exam that was created by DepEd as well. Managing digital footprints, understanding and controlling the long-term impact of online action. So right now we have different social media. We have Facebook. We also have a TikTok, Instagram, and more. So what we have posted online may leave our digital footprints. Like, for instance, I'm going to post something that is not good to my, let's say, workmate or co-teachers. But as we all know, our human resources or HR or AO, so during the background check in our promotion, they may use this maybe against you because this is something to do with your behavior. So we need to manage every single data that we post online. Also, the responsible AI use. So using AI tools in a way that is ethical and safe for our students. Because as we all know, AI nowadays are heavily uses not just by students but also our teachers uses AI. Sometimes we use AI to paraphrase, to enhance our paragraph, our content. Is it okay for as long as we know what is written to our content? Because as a teacher, it is important to develop a key competencies such as evaluating sources for credibility, managing our digital footprints, and ensure the secure use of platform. Now we will proceed to the discussion of our Data Privacy Act of 2012. So teachers handle the sensitive personal data of our dear students, the principle of data privacy, and the common violations in school. Data Privacy Act of 2012, wherein teacher handles the sensitive personal data. Teachers manage personal student information such as grade, health details, and contact information. In respect to the grades of our dear students, we need to make it private, especially the record of their quizzes, their performance task, the result of their major exam. Pertaining to health details, some of our students have their underlying health problem which needs to be in private. Also, the most important or the contact information or the personal information of our students. Another is the core principle, which includes transparency, legitimate purpose, and proportionally in handling data. This is the principle of data privacy. So, Data Privacy Act of 2012 is under the Republic Act number 10173. This is a Philippine law that protects individuals' personal information by regulating how government agencies and private organizations collects, protect, process, store, and share data. It also aims to safeguard the fundamental human rights to privacy. So these are the common violations in school. So it includes posting of student grades publicly, sharing confidential student information, or using personal emails for school related data. So let's start with the grades that has been posted publicly. So unintentionally, some of the teachers post this when when they want to post in Facebook story. So they intend to capture a picture of cards, maybe grade sheets, check quizzes and performance tasks and says, "Oh, I'm already done with my grades. I'm already done checking a bulk of quizzes from chapter 1 to chapter 5." Without realizing, we post the grades of our students publicly. Next is sharing confidential student information. For example, one of our co-teachers has been diagnosed with tuberculosis. So there are some teachers that may share this student information unintentionally as well. Oh, Miss Cruz have ATD. His student, Mr. Jose, also have ATD. So see, that is um, unintentional sharing of student information. But we violate the Data Privacy Act by sharing this information. Another is using personal email for school-related data. Most of the time, we tend to answer Google Forms, Microsoft Forms for data evaluation during our seminars. So what happened is instead of using our workplace email, we unintentionally uses our personal email. See, this is the common problem for us that we unintentionally violate this Data Privacy Act of 2012. So we must be vigilant in doing or using this data. As the Data Privacy Act governs how personal data should be handled, as educators, we must ensure student data is protected and never shared carelessly. Violating these principles could lead to legal consequences. See, even an unintentional sharing of students' record could lead to a legal consequences as well. Next, as we move on, we have the cybersecurity for teachers. These are the common threats that teachers may face. Phishing emails. We also have the fake debt memo, ransomware, social media impersonation, and AI deepfake scam. Phishing emails, so deceptive emails designed to steal personal information. It is very common nowadays since there are many reports in division ITO or even in our school head or reported cases that some of the teachers forced to change their password by land bank. But upon checking the email, it is not coming from land bank. The name and the logo says it is coming from land bank, but it is actually not. So we as teachers, we need to check every single details that we have in our email. Next, fraudulent memos attempting to gather sensitive data and spread misinformation. It gathers data because sometimes the fake memo tend to spread that this is a memo for an upcoming webinar or seminar wherein you need to input all your personal information and email as well to be part of the webinar. Or if you want to avail this learning resources, you need to input your different types of data. Spreading misinformation, this is actually very common, especially during class suspension, right? As we wait for the suspension of classes during rainy days, there are many fake memos and announcement that has been spread through online. Ransomware. This is a malicious software that locks data until a ransom is paid. We have many teachers as well who experience this type of ransomware using their social media. So many teachers has been a victim wherein they will ask to click a link or provide their email and password, and afterwards they were not able to open their FB account. So you're going to pay, let's say, 10,000 pesos to retrieve this malicious act or this ransomware. So again, don't click a link unless you are sure what is this link all about. Next is the social media impersonation. Cyber criminals impersonating teachers or school to gain trust. Impersonating teachers is very common nowadays. There are teachers who posted that this account is not mine, please report this. There are many cases, not just teachers, but also students and a school, because sometimes students also create a school page wherein they can type in or put an announcement. So this social media impersonation is very common right now. So before having a transaction with a profile page in FB or an account, make it sure to check it, as this may be an impersonation social media account or a scam account. We may say that. Next is AI deep fake scam. So fraudulent content created using AI technology to deceive individuals. So we have different AI technology right now. It may be in a form or text or picture. The worst is having a video and a call as well. Okay. For example, me, my picture has been edited using an AI and posed as if I am living in Batangas. But right now, I am currently in Region 3, so not in Batangas. So we can deceive people that please help me. I am Batangas right now. Please send money so I can go home. This is my Gcash account. So that is a scam. Alright? So they can also post a picture of someone that is um, maybe in a hospital having a surgery like that. So in AI, we can have a lot of scam. They use AI for or to deceive individuals. Cybersecurity risk for teachers, since teachers are often targeted by cybercriminals. Phishing emails, fake memo, and ransomware are all common threats. So always protect your data with strong password and level 2 or 2 authentication code, and avoid using a public Wi-Fi for important tasks. So as we all know, teachers are very busy. Sometimes we receive an email and we do not counter check. We just answer it because it has an attractive wordings. Sometimes it says na Sometimes it says that to avail 50% discount as a deputy teacher, you need to write in everything about this. Also, fake memo, there is no classes for the entire quarter. That is just a sample. Again, connecting or avoiding this, let's say we access our online bank, then what we do is to connect to a public Wi-Fi that is actually not reliable. Okay. So these are the practical protections or steps that we may use. First is use strong password, minimum of 12 characters. Most people right now, their password is just 8 characters. The combination of their birthday sometimes is the birthday of their daughter, son, or even their husbands, their wife. So a strong password is actually a combination of alphanumeric, meaning combination of alphabet and also a number. Some website encourage user to use a strong password, a combination of alphabet, numeric, and a symbol as well. That is one of the strong password. For alphabet, they uses um, combination of capital or uppercase and lowercase. Another is enable two-factor authentication. So in our emails in the ped, we have our 2FA or the two-factor authentication. We're in to open our account, we need to get a code using our mobile number. We can also use passkeys, biometrics, and also our iris. This also applies to other institution like in CHED. They have a two-factor authentication for their emails. Avoid public Wi-Fi since public Wi-Fi is not necessarily coming from our government. Even scammers provide a free Wi-Fi just to get an information. Verify suspicious links. So sometimes we forget to counter check the links that has been sent to us. That's why in Messenger we have this unlimited spam emails or spam messages. I don't know if you are familiar with this, but I receive a many message coming from different people about the promo of Jollibee. It is coming from a messenger. Someone may click it, then provide an information to avail the free Jollibee, and so on and so forth. Next is update software regularly. This is one of the most common mistakes that we have. We forgot to update our software. For example, you have your antivirus that has been installed last 2024. But right now, we are in the year 2026. That's why we need to have an updates for our antivirus software because there are many virus that has been created over a year. I also want you to know about the online safety for students. Since online safety is not just for teachers but for students as well. This is our main responsibility for them. As teachers play a key role in guiding students in how to stay safe online. It is not just about protecting them from bullying, but also teaching them about digital footprint and responsible online behavior. So this is our responsibility. First is to promote cyberbullying awareness, digital footprint consequences, safe social media habits, online stranger danger, and responsible AI usage. For cyberbullying awareness, teachers may guide students to recognize, prevent, and properly respond to online harassment to promote a safe and respectful digital environment. Right now in DepEd, we have an anti-bullying campaign wherein we expose our students to know their rights during a bullying. It also includes the cyberbullying awareness. We guide our students, we promote fairness to all, to say no to harassment, because right now, the current bullying example that we have is some student may post the picture of their classmates, then there are keyboard warriors who may happen to comment sarcastic comments to this online post. So we as teacher, we need also to protect our students on this type of danger. Another is digital footprint consequences. This also applies like on our digital footprint as a teacher. Teacher helps learner understand that everything posted online leaves a lasting trace that can affect their future education, career, and reputation. The current generation that we have often post a vent out disappointments. Um, what else? I often read anything about happiness, success, sometimes more on bad experiences. So we need to remind our students that posting or expressing themselves is okay, but there is a consequence afterwards. Their future company may check their social media history, how well mannered this student is during his student life. So that is also their reputation. So we need to let our students understand that what they post online may last or may leave a lasting trace. Next is safe social media habits. We as teachers, we need to encourage students to practice privacy, protection, critical thinking, and respectful communication when using a social media platform. As we all know, many students right now has been posting anything and everything about their life. We need to practice a privacy protection. Don't let your students post their private pictures, where they live exactly. Do not let them to post their IDs as well. And since graduation is in the air or currently approaching, maybe soon we will see that our student post the copy of their diploma and grades through online. This is a very risky content in their social media platform because there are many hackers or scammers that may use their personal details. online stranger danger. So we as teachers, we need to educate our learners about the risk of interacting with unknown individuals online and how to protect personal information from potential threat. So commonly, anyone on the social media, especially the young adults or maybe the preteens, the teenagers, they intend to talk to someone who is unknown to them. They got a message, hey, you're so cute, you're so beautiful. Tell me something about yourself. Alright? So, this is actually a potential threat for our students. That's why we also need to educate our learners about the danger of talking with the strangers. Responsible AI usage. So teacher ensures students use artificial intelligence or AI ethically, responsibly, and in a way that support genuine learning and academic integrity. Many teachers right now are mad with the usage of AI. We are always mad and sad towards our students because they continuously use this AI in answering their assignments, their performance tasks, in even their remediation program. But actually, what we need is to have a campaign to promote a responsible use of AI among our students. Students are very amazed with the result of AI. They do not know the proper use of this. That's why we need to conduct an awareness, a campaign on how to ethically use this AI. Again, ethics is at the core of ICT use in education. We must respect others' work, avoid plagiarism, and ensure that AI is used fairly and ethically. As fellow educator, we are the models of our students. So I have here a scenario. Then you need to answer, is it safe or risky? What I want you to do is to comment down the answer. For scenario number one, teacher post student photo without consent. Is this safe or risky? If you answer is risky, you are correct. Remember, we have discussed a while ago that the personal information of the students must be in private. It must be stored and kept confidentially. A photo or a picture is a one example of a student record. Without their consent, we are not allowed to post their picture online or anywhere. Next, number two, teacher clicks unknown link from DepEd IT support. Is this safe or risky? If your answer is risky, you are correct. We have discussed about the unknown link that teachers click every now and then. Sometimes because they are tired, they haven't read the entire message and tend to click register. So if we are tired with our volume of work at school and even at home, We must not forget to read the entire message or check the link before we click. Okay? Next, number 3. Teacher uses the same password for all accounts. Is this safe or risky? The correct answer is risky. There is a study that having a same password for all account may compromise your whole account. Imagine if your FB password is same with your bank password, then what will happen is the hacker may open your bank account and withdraw everything. So what we must do is to create a different password for different accounts. So I guess you got all these scenarios correct. Again, these scenarios are very risky. We must understand that everything online seems to be risky. As I end, we as fellow educators, we are not only teachers of subjects. We are the guardians of information, protectors of privacy, and models of responsible digital citizenship. So, in this digital age, cybersecurity is no longer optional, it is part of our professional responsibility. Once again, my name is Ms. Rosel B. Avila. Thank you.
The seminar consolidated teachers' understanding of digital literacy and cybersecurity by highlighting the responsible, ethical, and safe use of technology, equipping them with practical knowledge and strategies that can be immediately applied to enhance teaching effectiveness, protect digital information, and foster responsible digital citizenship in educational settings. Tetra Book Publishing Services Corporation reaffirms its commitment to supporting educators through the promotion of digital literacy, cybersecurity awareness, and responsible use of technology, ensuring that learning resources, training initiatives, and professional development programs empower teachers to adapt safely, ethically, and effectively in the digital age. Certificates of participation will be sent to participants who successfully complete and submit the online seminar evaluation form. The evaluation link will be available immediately after the seminar and automatically close 30 minutes after the seminar ends, after which responses will no longer be accepted. As we come to the close of today's meaningful gathering, Cetra Book Publishing Services Corporation extends its sincerest gratitude to everyone who contributed to the success of this session. Your active participation, valuable insights, and shared commitment to academic excellence continue to inspire our advocacy for quality research and scholarly publishing. At CETRA, we remain steadfast in our mission to empower educators, researchers, authors, and institutions by transforming ideas into credible, accessible, and impactful publications. Today's exchange of knowledge reaffirms our shared vision of advancing education through collaboration, integrity, and innovation. Before we part, we would like to remind everyone to kindly mark your calendars and join us for session 2, scheduled on April 18, 2026. We look forward to continuing our discussions, deepening our learning, and building stronger partnerships in the next session. Once again, thank you for your time, trust, and unwavering support. May this engagement be the beginning of more meaningful collaborations with Cetra Book Publishing Services Corporation. Maraming salamat and look forward to seeing you again soon.